So guys, today is a day one for DevOps. Officially, we are starting a batch from today.
All right, guys, let me just share my screen. All right, guys, let me know if you see the PPT because just a second.
Yeah, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
And okay, perfect. I'm also visible, right?
Yeah, correct, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right, guys, just give me a second. All right, guys. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all to this course, which is DevOps for Professionals or DevOps Professional Master Program. It is going to be a weekend only course, and we are going to learn about DevOps, how it originated, the idea behind DevOps, um, what was before DevOps, and how this DevOps got into the ecosystem, or we say a part of the culture. How many tools are part of DevOps, etc. Right. All right. So first of all, my introduction, guys. My name is Amit. I'm working right now as an architect in an IT consultant firm here in Gurgaon, and with 13 years of experience and multiple, certifications in hand. So I basically also opted as a trainer with NW Kings. The reason behind is we see normally as an architect, I am also, asked to take interviews and select candidates for various domains. And what I see is, starting from the freshers, they lack the basic fundamental knowledge. And when it comes to, implementation or let's say troubleshooting, the foundation knowledge plays a vital role. Uh, the troubleshooting can be of any type on any domain. But if you know the fundamentals, if the fundamentals are right, you will be able to find the root cause and fix the issue, right? So this was the whole idea. I mean, I wanted to share the hands-on experience with everyone, how the IT companies work. Um, um, like apart from book knowledge, what else you should learn? It's not only like you read a book and you're just ready for the enterprise. No, there are lot many things happening, which obviously one book cannot cover. Someone who has that experience will be able to tell you more on that, right? Okay, so yeah, and at the same time I started my career as a IT software developer. Started with web development, web applications, and slowly went into the world of Linux, right? So with Linux administration to SME to automation engineer to architect and so on, right? And guys, as you can see in the slide, my email ID is amitbhatt@nwkings.com. You can reach me whenever you feel like. Also, I'll be creating a Telegram group with everyone. I mean, I'll be adding you all. And you can also drop your messages, queries, whatever we learn during the weekend. If you're practicing, you're facing issues, you can ask me. Okay. Right. And the approach here in this course is going to be obviously practical, a bit of a theory when it comes to the concepts, like how these things work. So yeah, we need to understand the background working of, let's say, when you run a command on Linux server, how the commands execute, uh, how the commands are running, how many components play a role in executing a command, all those things. That will be part of a theory, obviously. But yes, when we get into the practicals, it will be all, task based. I'll be throwing some questions and obviously, performing the task, right? Okay, so as I said, we are going to understand the core concept of DevOps. We're going to sort of master containerization with Docker. It's very much part of DevOps. Okay. We are going to build scalable, high available, fault tolerant infrastructure on AWS. Mostly it is going to be a microservice architecture on Docker Kubernetes. Okay. And we'll be using the cloud platform. Okay. And we'll be going to set up GitOps to deploy the production, to deploy to production, to deploy to testing, quality assurance, and with the help of automation, Terraform, right? And apart from all of this, the base is always going to be the operating system. Okay, so we are going to start with Linux operating system with networking. It was going to be a kind of a combo course. Okay, in the start, we're going to start with Linux with networking. We get the fundamentals right, and then we slowly move ahead. One more thing, DevOps is not complete without any programming language. So we need to learn one programming language, and I've selected Python for it. Although you can go with Java and all, but yes, again, you guys, if you're not into hardcore development, then I don't think Java makes sense. Yes, you can learn Java; it's good. But what I think is, if you learn Python, or if you already know Python, you can then get into various other domains as well. Okay, it's not only DevOps. You can get into AI, ML, right? So there are, and obviously automation. There are many, verticals that you can get into, right? So after learning Linux and networking, we're going to learn the automation part, how to automate certain tasks, not certain, but basically all the tasks. Okay. So as simple as creating a user on multiple servers. So if you're creating user on multiple servers, obviously you need some automation tool. You don't want to waste time manually log into server and then run the commands, verify. Instead, you should be able to create a kind of a script, a kind of a code. If you're using Ansible automation tool, then it is called playbook, right? If it is Python, then Python code file, right? So we'll be first of all get into Ansible. Ansible is the easiest way of automation in 2025, right? And it can connect to operating system. It can connect to cloud infra. It can connect to virtual infra like VMware, right? It can connect to storage devices, network devices. So it's a versatile tool, Ansible, right? So Linux, networking, Ansible. And then after Ansible, we'll learn about Python. Okay, so when we start Python, we'll be creating some code files. We will keep all those code files in a, let's say, GitHub repository. Okay, so we'll be learning about Git, GitHub, how it works, what is Git, and then we'll be sort of combining all these things going forward, right? So as I said, starting from scratch, which is Linux, the operating system Linux. Okay. Guys, also, if you have any doubts in the middle, just type it in the chat. I'll address them after a few slides. Okay. Right. So course overview, as I again sort of explained, we'll start with Linux fundamentals and then get into the DevOps culture. See, DevOps is not a technology. I think you know that. So DevOps is a culture. It means uh, the tool sets selected by your organization or maybe your project manager or the project team lead to basically work on that project. Okay. And how you connect all those tools together, how you use automation in your, day-to-day operations. That is DevOps. Okay. Development operations. Plus, there are many things which we'll be discussing. Right. And then the DevOps toolchain, as I said, how many tools are used, expertise in all those tools, and the modern CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, using the good old tools like Jenkins and the modern tools like GitHub Actions, even the cloud native. So there are more ways for CI/CD than ever before, and we'll be exploring most of them. Okay. And then cloud and container orchestration. Obviously, it's a combination, but we'll be going one by one. So starting with the Docker container, microservices, monolithic architecture, microservice architecture. So we'll be, understanding how things work. Uh, a part of DevOps in this DevOps course, a part will be for development as well, software development. We are not going to create a heavy software, just a basic maybe to start with a basic website with 2 or 3 pages. So we'll see how things interact, how the website interacts. Okay, so how it interacts with the user on the browser and via the API. Okay, so with microservices, we are going to explore all these things. So when we learn Python, so there is a module called Flask. Using Flask module in Python, we are going to create a full-fledged application, a website, maybe a web application, you can say. We are going to host it on maybe Linux first and then on the cloud. And then we'll see how can we containerize it using Docker. How can we manage it with Kubernetes? Okay, deploy and manage with Kubernetes. Auto scale, auto heal, all these features come along with Kubernetes. Okay, and again, the implementation of Kubernetes. There are two parts. One is on virtual machine. One is on the physical machine. One is on the cloud. So we'll be touching all these topics. Okay, if any of these tools are alien to you, don't worry. Right now, just keep in mind whatever we are going to learn going forward. Obviously, we are going to start with the fundamentals like Linux. What is Linux operating system? Why it is popular? Why should we learn? Okay, so fundamentals, then into the commands, then the concepts, how to start stop services, etc., etc. And the same pattern will be followed for the all the tools that we are going to cover. Okay. Right. And when we talk about the cloud, see, learning cloud is good. I mean, it's okay. You can just go to the console, cloud console, click here and there, deploy a virtual machine, configure a service. That's perfectly fine. But as a DevOps engineer, apart from this, you should also know infrastructure as a code. What exactly it is? Infrastructure as a code. Whatever you deploy as a service, um, let's say your virtual machines on the cloud, we call them instances, right? So whatever you deploy on the cloud is called the infrastructure. Okay, so that is part of the infrastructure. It can be network gateway, it can be, all the services, the virtual machines and all. What if you have to manage that using a code, a configuration? So when you convert your entire infrastructure into a configuration like in a file, you type virtual machines 3, database server 1, or database service 1, okay, or storage service 1 instance, like that. Right. So that is your code, your configuration. And then with the help of some automation, you can make changes in the infrastructure without logging in to the cloud console. Okay. You need not to open the browser, log in. No, forget about that. So everything happens in the background with the help of the APIs, okay, or the cloud native commands, okay, like AWS provides AWS CLI command, right? So AWS CLI will connect to the cloud console using your credentials. There is a bit of a initial configuration involved. We'll do that, and then we'll be using it with Terraform, okay, and we'll be deploying the infrastructure on the cloud. Automatically it will happen. You don't have to click anything. Yes, it takes time to create the configuration initially, but once it is done, then it's easy. Then you can easily modify, you can make changes, okay, and sort of you can have a stable infrastructure, right? So, and this infrastructure as a code, I mean, it's also part of the architecture. If you see this DevOps at a broader level, in an any IT company, there will be an architect for your project, for your company, which will be, planning it, how the infrastructure will be created that will serve the customer, okay, the client or the customer, right? So everything, whatever the architect designs, you will be converting it into a code. Okay, so we'll see that towards the end. We'll see the architecture from the architecture's point of view, how DevOps work, right? Um, yeah, and then the last one, which is really important, observability, monitoring, and logging. Okay, so there are various tools which are used for observability, monitoring, and logging. In short, whatever is happening on the infrastructure, logs are going to be generated, right? Those logs can be captured and sent to another tool which can show you some graphs, some stats, right? So we'll be using multiple tools, Grafana, Prometheus, like that. Okay, so one tool captures the log, sends to the another tool showcases dashboards, and there are some pre-built dashboards, provided by the vendor. Okay, so you can simply download and use. If your client requires a separate dashboard, you can modify. You can also create from scratch. You can modify like that. Okay, so ultimately there are multiple things happening on the cloud: containers, Kubernetes, CI/CD, etc., etc. So many things are happening in the background. So how do you check? How do you keep an eye on the operations? Well, whether network is fine, servers are fine, how many servers are up, how many are offline, etc., etc. You can see all of that information in one single page using observability, monitoring, and logging tools. Okay. All right. So obviously, we are going to go in depth, and in most of the topics, we are going to cover the certification level of course curriculum, right? Okay, so guys, any doubts till now before I proceed? Any questions?
Yeah, fine.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is again, I'll explain more on Linux. What are we going to learn? So first of all, importance of Linux in DevOps. Why are we learning Linux? Okay, and then as Linux is the backbone for most of the DevOps or the cloud environment. Okay, even Azure, they are complete Azure setup is on Linux, right? And Linux in containers, or we can say containers and Linux combination. Okay, so we convert the applications, or we containerize the applications, and we then push it to the Docker registry or the container registry, whatever it can be, Docker or your self-hosted, doesn't matter. Okay, so we'll be using the Linux servers. We'll be performing the operations on Linux servers. Okay, so if you have to use Linux servers for most of the work, for connecting to the cloud via API, okay, like I said, AWS CLI tool, right? Or creating container images, Linux machine is a must, right? And if you want to use Linux, you have to learn it. You have to learn how to basically work with Linux operating system on the command line. Command line is this: the black screen, white text. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. If you don't like this command line, no worries. I'll show you one alternative. So in Linux operating system, there is a tool called Cockpit. You can also use Cockpit, which is more or less graphical on the browser. You can open all the options, play with them. As an administrator, you can perform the administrative level task as well. Okay, you can become the administrator and you can perform all the tasks. Okay, so Mohammed Nasir is asking, do I need to know Java scripting? No. As I said, DevOps is incomplete without programming knowledge. Okay, we are going to learn Python. Java is not mandatory. In fact, Python is also not mandatory. Programming language is not at all mandatory. It's like you will have an upper hand compared to other candidates. As simple as that. Okay. If you want to have 1 point extra when it comes to comparison of CVs or shortlisting of CVs, you will have 1 point extra because you know Python. You know the architecture, like what is monolithic, what is microservices, and in this course, we'll be creating the microservice architecture, multiple Dockers connecting with each other, and ultimately sharing the information with the user. Okay, so with the help of API. So we are going to do that. We are going to deploy multiple Docker containers. Within those Docker containers, Python code will be running. And it's not like a heavy code, just 10, 20 lines of code, not more than that. Trust me. Okay. So that's why I'm saying Java is going to be comprehensive learning, because then you need to learn many things. You need to learn you know, everything about the Java from scratch, then object-oriented approach, classes and all, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to take so much time. Okay. So what I feel is Python is modern. It will help you get into AI, ML, data analysis, analytics. There are so many domains that you can enter with Python, right? Okay, so someone is asking, explain about API. Okay, so API in general, let's say, um, you have your phone in your hand right now. You open Instagram. Instagram is the client side tool which gives you the user interface. You can browse through the post, images, and all, right? Reels, etc. So my question is, how is your phone, or how is this Instagram on your phone getting the information? So it gets the information from the server, Instagram server. Where is it? In the Facebook data center, Meta data center, right? So your phone, the Instagram on your phone is going to connect to the data center server, the Instagram server, and it will use the API call. Basically, it's an HTTP request. In the HTTP request, there will be request body asking for some details from your user feed, and then the server is going to respond back with the data, and whatever the data is received, that data will contain some reels links, images links, and all, and that will be translated into UI by the application, the Instagram application which is on your phone. Okay. So the background communication is based on API, application protocol interface. Okay. There are some rules that you need to follow. There is a structure of the API. Okay. There is a payload, authentication. There are so many things. Okay. So as a layman, how applications are connecting to each other and then, talking to each other, communicating, sharing data, it is all happening with the help of API. All right. And on the same concept, we are going to create a small web application based on Python where we will have client server, that is fine, but the processing will be handled with multiple layers. All these layers will be containerized. All these layers will be separate applications converted into containers, and we'll be deploying them with Kubernetes and managing it. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is the CLI where you have the command line where you can run the commands and you see the output. Okay. So um, why am I stressing on the CLI? Because first of all, how can you use GUI? Let's say you have a server, it's in US data center, you are sitting in Gurgaon maybe. So how do you get access to the server? How do you see the GUI? So if you want to see the GUI, you need to open the virtualization platform. You need to log in. You need to open the virtual machine, and then you need to click on the view console option or take remote view console option. When you open the console, it will open the screen. Then you will see the GUI. And because the distance between you and the server is quite big, there will be a lag. Okay. It's not like you're working on your laptop and it's, so seamless, really fast. Okay. But the processing is fast on the server. That's okay. But, the lag because of the network latency, this will cause issues. Okay. And it is sort of a roadblock when you want to work fast, quick, right? So that's why we don't really prefer GUI. Plus, the data transmission for the GUI is going to be really heavy. Okay, and we would want to save some MBs on the data transfer. So the best approach is text-based communication. You communicate with the server using text. Okay, so you write some command, you get some output. This is text-based communication. Right now, I'm just running the commands on the Windows laptop or the Windows operating system, and I'm getting the result here. But I can also connect to a server. Let me show you one thing. If it is running, no, let me start. So there is one virtual machine which I have already created. Let me just start it and just kind of a quick demo how we connect to the server. I hope my screen is visible. You can see all of this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm logged in. Let me quickly get the IP address of this virtual machine, and then I'll show you how can we connect. Okay, let me just copy it, 145, and let me run this machine in the background. I'll just simply close and run in the background. I can close the application. I'm back to my PowerShell. This is Windows PowerShell where we can run the commands. I'm going to run a command to connect to this machine. This is 145, right? Will it work? No. 192.168.81. 145, enter. Password is Red Hat, and I'm logged in. Okay, so I'm logged into this virtual machine from Windows. Now, this is all text-based communication. I can run the commands and I can get the output. So I run the command, the output is here. This is straight away from the server itself. Okay, and I can perform whatever I want to. I can install, let's say, database server. Okay, configure it, attach it to the web application, okay, for which it will be used, etc., etc. There are so many things to do. One more question. In my Windows machine, I can only run one, either container or VM. Don't worry, you just create a virtual machine. I'll tell you about virtual machines and all. Don't worry. So just create a virtual machine, and we'll be performing all the tasks in that virtual machine. Okay. So a virtual machine with 2 GB RAM and 2 CPUs, that will be more than enough. Okay. If we need some good configuration virtual machine for deploying some specialized software, then I'll let you know. But otherwise, 2 GB RAM, 2 CPUs to a virtual machine, that is more than enough. All right. Okay. So let's get back to the PPT. Okay. So what are we going to learn? As I said, the commands, how to navigate, how to open a folder. We say a directory in Linux, how to open a directory, how to check what is inside directory, how to create files and more directories, how to copy, remove, delete, find text from text files. That is called grep or grep command, right? And the Linux directory structure, how is Linux operating system organized? Like in Windows, if I show you C drive of my system, this is the C drive, right? A typical C drive. In fact, you also see the same. You will also see the same on your laptop desktop. The important folders here are number one, program files. Number two, program files x86. Number three is users. Number four is Windows. These four directories are really important. Okay. And when you log into your Windows laptop, what do you see? You see the desktop, like you can see my desktop here, right? So where is this desktop? Where are these icons? So desktop is in users, your username, like for me it is Amit or Amit F. And then there is desktop. It's not here because I'm using OneDrive. So desktop moves to OneDrive for backup purpose. So if I click on OneDrive on the left hand side, here is the desktop. Okay, so these are the same things, right? Okay, so similarly, the organization of the operating system files, where are they kept? In Linux operating system, that is the Linux directory structure. Okay, so in the slide, it says the Linux directory structure. What is inside etc, what is inside var, what is inside usr, etc., etc. So we'll be learning all of that. Okay. Munir is asking, maximize the screen. Isn't it maximized? It is maximized, right?
The slide
Yes,
you are
it's
showing that
It's
is
good.
It's good, right?
yeah, it's all good. It's
Okay,
It's
visible.
good.
Yeah.
I think he is asking presentation mode. I think so.
Yes,
See,
yes.
I'm not in presentation mode because I have to then, alt tab switch between windows. That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
I can
Okay.
go into presentation mode, F5, I guess, right? Just a second. Yeah. So this is presentation mode. Can I alt tab? Yeah, I can alt tab. Okay, this is also good. Just a second. All right. Okay,
And
so next one.
possible, have you shared this PPT?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
this
absolutely.
link?
Yeah. See, regarding the courseware, first of all, this DevOps courseware is big.
Yeah.
If you guys want, I can share everything on day one, or I can share as we proceed. For example, we are going to start with Linux. So I'll be sharing all of the Linux material on Google Drive. I'll be creating a Google Drive for this batch, sharing the links with you all. Okay. And I can just start away with Linux first, then from Linux to automation Ansible, then to Python, and I'll just keep on adding the folders. Okay.
Okay.
Again, as I said, it's your call. If you want all of the courseware on day one, I can do that. But yes, as I said, as we proceed, I might also make some changes depending on the versions. Let's say we are talking about Linux. So current version is 10. Okay. And I don't have the version 10 PPT yet. So I'll be sharing version 9. I'm just giving an example, right? So if I share whatever we are learning at that time, then the chances are you'll be getting the latest version. Okay. If you want me to share everything in advance, then you'll be getting sort of 6 months old data. Okay. So it's your call. Okay. So ultimately, you'll get everything, including this PPT and all the other stuff in the Google Drive itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. In fact, let me give you an example how it looks like, because the previous batch I delivered, I have that structure with me. So in the Google Drive, when I go to DevOps, here it is. Okay, so no. So this is not the one. This is kind of a rough work for me. Where is that folder? Hold on. DevOps. Here it is. So when you get the the link, Google Drive link, you will find 3 folders: ebooks, notes, and PPT. Right. So PPT is the same PPT that I'm using right now. This one, okay, which is, let me check, which is more than 305 slides. And this is till containers, okay, Linux and containers. And then there is the next PPT for Ansible, next PPT for, Python, etc., etc., etc. Right? Okay. So PPT will have all those PPTs, the notes, the during the class, I'll be using a notepad. So whatever I explain, that will be part of the notes. Okay. So I'll try to use Notion because in DevOps, there are so many diagrams to display, to share. So I'll be using Notion, and then I'll be converting it into PDF. Okay. So PDF notes with diagrams, with everything. So those will be available in the notes. Next is the ebooks. And in the ebooks, you'll find ebooks for pretty much everything, whatever tools we are going to use. Okay. Ansible, AWS, Azure Notes, Git, Jenkins, Kubernetes, Linux, Python. There are few more which are not added here, but they will be provided to you. Okay. All right.
And I mean,
So
sir,
this,
one more request, like whenever they need a lab, you need to inform us so that we'll issue a lab because all people enrolled, including lab access.
absolutely. So when the lab starts, I'll be informing in advance. Okay. Also, initially, we don't need the lab, because initially we just need to create a virtual machine on your own laptop or desktop, whatever you're using. Okay. It's very easy. When we reach the cloud part, then yes, we need a lab with credentials. So that will be provided by the team.
And even, sir, what we can do, we have a like a racks. We can provide them access for Linux also on the racks if
Oh,
they're
yes,
not
perfect.
comfortable to install anything on their own laptops.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are not able to, because of the hardware restriction on your laptop, let's say you just have 2 GB RAM and very old laptop with one CPU, one core CPU like that. Yes, obviously, then you cannot create a virtual machine. In that case, we can provide you the access to the lab, our in-house lab, which is based on EVNG, and you can, practice the commands on the Linux server over there. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of that, we can use one AWS VM also, right, for temporary work.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see,
Mm.
as I said, I just don't want to get into cloud straight away. So
Okay.
we'll first of all see how to see in the cloud. You can create a virtual machine, that's fine. But how is the installation done? You won't be able to get the hands-on on the installation part. I
Okay.
want you guys to learn how to install operating system like Windows, or sorry, Ubuntu, or maybe CentOS or Red Hat Linux. Okay, so once you have that, knowledge, you will be more comfortable, right? So again, as I said, DevOps is not only just work on the cloud. Sometimes you just have to work on the virtual infra, automate, and handle everything with DevOps,
Okay. Thank you.
right? Yeah. So that's why the first practical that we are going to do will be a Linux virtual machine, create a Linux virtual machine, install operating system, and we'll use CentOS for this. Okay, CentOS is the best one. It offers most of the features. Um, Updates are free, and yeah, so we'll be using the latest one, CentOS 10. All right, so basic commands. Next is the permissions and ownership. Files in Linux, those are protected with permissions. Okay, permission details like read, write, execute. Ownership, who owns the file. So these two combination basically protect the file. So we're going to learn how to understand permissions, how to change permissions, how to change the ownership. Okay, so if the file is owned by me, I can also make you the owner, or vice versa. We can do all of these things, right? And with this, you can basically restrict the access to the file. Everyone on the server, let's say there are 100 more users on the server. Okay, so those will not be able to open the file, only the one who have the permission. So that is the permission and ownership. Okay, so these 3 points alone cover 50% of the course. Okay, I've just, sort of compressed it, but otherwise 200 PPTs or 200 slides are there in these 3 topics alone. Okay, and then shell script basics. Shell script, what is shell script? Shell script is nothing, it's a file where you keep all the Linux commands in a sequence with some, let's say, structure like, if this happens, then do this. Like this is the, if condition, if you know C language or any other language. So conditions can be applied in shell scripting. You can run a command multiple times depending on the, task and the requirement, that is with the help of loop. So all these things are possible. So with shell scripts basics, you'll be basically starting or getting into automation. So this is the first step in automation, shell scripting, we call it. Okay. If you have gone through any of the job description for DevOps in Naukri.com or maybe Monster.com, Indeed, you will find that they want someone who knows Linux, Linux shell scripting, Ansible, hands-on with Python. All these, keywords will be there. Okay, so accordingly, we have designed this code so that you don't miss out on any skill, right? So writing shell scripts, we are not going to cover the entire end-to-end. Obviously, that is not required. What is required? The basic stuff, right? So concepts like variables, conditions, loops, and yeah, functions. Okay, so we'll be working around that. So what is the benefit of shell scripting? You can automate stuff. You can create users. You can, let's say, the task is to create a user on all 20 Linux servers. You simply create a shell script which will connect to all the servers one by one and create that user. Also, in the end, it can create a report. You can basically create the logic for it. You can create a report in CSV format that on this server, this user created user ID this. On that server, user created user ID this. So all of this is possible, right? Not only user add, you can also update the servers. You can also perform other stuff as well. For example, restart the services, change the configuration, okay? Or maybe if you're working on a website thing, you can do the temporary file cleanup. There are so many things when it comes to application management, right? So obviously we're not going to touch all of that, but these are the use cases. The next one is networking and processes. See, when we talk about networking, especially in Linux, it's not like CCNA level networking. It is the basic stuff. What is IP? What is protocol? What is port number? What is gateway? All these terminologies, you should be aware of that. I mean, the concepts, how data gets transferred from the source to destination. Like there are multiple layers of the protocol. The data goes through all these layers. What are those layers? Those layers are based on what reference model, etc., etc. That we'll be covering. Okay. And then, as I said, process also. Process is like a service, a program running in the background for a specific task. Example, a database server. It runs as a process in the background. It waits for incoming connections. Okay, that incoming connection can be from a website, okay, which wants to, get some data, wants to query the database and get the data, or from a user in the sense that I, as a user, I'm using a database client tool to connect to the database and manage it, optimize it, add more tables, add a user to the database, etc. Right? So a database process will be running in the background. You should know the command to start the process, stop the process, restart, change the configuration, and reload, all these things. Okay. And then, yes, the with every topic there are labs. We'll be performing the labs, and at the end of the course, obviously there will be a bigger lab, okay, where we will be creating virtual machines, connecting remotely using SSH. Okay, like I said, like I'm connected to this machine remotely, okay, using SSH on the terminal. This software is called terminal. Inside the terminal, it's PowerShell. On PowerShell, I used SSH command to connect to this virtual machine, and I am connected, right? So this is one, very small thing to do, in fact. But yes, I mean, a good start. And then create a simple shell script to perform a task, automation, and manage some services. Okay, so for this management of services, we will deploy a web server and we'll see how it works, right? Or sort of, we'll be deploying a website in layman terms. Okay, we create a web server, or sorry, we install a web server, we create website files, homepage, some styles, images, and all. Okay, and we'll use obviously ChatGPT or Gemini for that. Really easy way. Okay, if you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, good, do that. You can create by yourself. If not, use ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other AI tool. Okay, so this is the fundamental. And next is the DevOps introduction. Okay, so see, when we talk about DevOps, let me show you one thing. Network, no, Notepad, not network. See, when we talk about DevOps, DevOps is fine. Okay, it's uh, it's a term which is used everywhere. But what was before DevOps? Before DevOps, let's say there is a physical server. On this physical server, a software is running. Okay, let's say a program is running. Now this program is running on this machine, and the client or the customer wants to modify or add more features to this program. So what will happen? On the same physical server, let's say the programmer is going to make the changes. Okay, let's say add more and more feature. Okay, and then reinstall this program, or maybe just patch this program. Okay, so everything is happening here, right? What if the customer wants to go back to the previous version? Either you install the multiple versions of the same application, and then you can fall back, or you keep track of all the previous code and all. Okay, to eliminate this, eliminate this problem, the SVN, subversioning system, was introduced. Okay, so with subversioning, the code is kept with versions. You can fall back to a older version, etc., etc. You can do that. Okay, then it comes that you have added a new feature. So before you move it to the production, production is the main application. Okay, you want to first test it. Okay, once the test is successful, then deploy to production. Now, if you want to have this chain automated, then a new tool was introduced called Jenkins. Okay, so with the help of Jenkins, Jenkins can basically detect when a new code has been added. If the new code has been added, it is going to push the code to the test server for testing. And based on the outcomes, it can deploy the same application to the production. Okay. And then new layer introduced called containerization, where you don't straight away write the code and just push it to the production. You first of all write the code, convert it into container, push the container to registry, and from registry, deploy the container application again through Jenkins. So it was a gradual, progress, step by step. And then ultimately, it's one sort of automation here. Second level of automation with help of shell scripting, Ansible, Terraform. There are so many tools introduced. Even before Terraform, Ansible, there was Chef, Puppet, and all. You might have heard about them. Might be your organization, if you're working, might be using it. If you're a fresher, no worries. Don't worry about this. If you are already working, you might have heard about them. Chef Puppet, okay, were used in most of the use cases. But now it's only mostly I see only Ansible and Terraform now. In fact, in the job descriptions for DevOps engineer, even as a fresher, they'll ask for Ansible or Terraform. Okay, right. So the principle of DevOps, okay, how it got introduced, how it evolved, etc., etc. Okay, and then basically, as I just explained you plan for the feature, plan for the software. Let's say you code for it. The development team. I'm talking about the development team, not you. And then they build the application, they test it, and they release it to production, to the main application, to the main server. Okay, and then the users are going to use it, monitor it, and based on these logs and monitoring and all, they're going to suggest more features that we need this and that. Then the development team is going to plan again for those changes. Okay, code for it, build it, test it, release. All of this cycle is sort of an infinite cycle. Okay, so that's why the logo for DevOps is the infinity logo. Okay, so it keeps on happening. So changes keeps on happening, and automation plays a vital role here. Automation at any level or any stage is obviously time saving. Okay, so mostly you'll see we will be working on some or the other form of automation. Okay, we'll be learning the tool as normal, I mean, from the fundamentals and all, but ultimately we'll be incorporating it in the automation, right? Okay, so as I told you about, yes, please, yes.
Sorry, I got a question. Like
Yeah.
existing network, if we want to move from normal network to the DevOps, so how it works, how the migration would work, like it's not without impacting, without any failure of the existing network, can I do the my whole network to the DevOps environment? How the migration it will work? Can you explain me a little bit?
Yeah. So first of all, when we talk about the network, what network are you referring to? And then when we talk about the DevOps network, is it on the cloud?
Any like you say mention the server or anything cloud or anything.
Okay. See, let's say, okay, let's take an example. For the network migration, first of all, you need to have the architect level diagrams ready, okay, for the migration. What is right now and what do you want? So I'm just, touching the high level overview, okay, not going into low level details. So first of all, the architecture level diagrams that architect is going to provide you. Based on that architecture diagram, you are going to plan how to do the migration. It's not like out of the blue, you just decide, okay, let's migrate it like that. No, it's not who you decide. It's the top level, the architect who decides what will be the end product when we talk about the network migration. Okay, how will it look like? And then you plan for it. Okay, planning involves, let's say on the cloud, let's say on AWS. So first of all, on the AWS, you will make sure that the VPCs are created, subnets are created. Okay, and in the subnets, public subnet, private subnet, and then the internet gateway or whatever gateways are required that are in place. And you can do that with the help of Terraform. Okay, so you follow the architecture diagram provided by your architect, you create the layout or the configuration with Terraform, and you deploy it. Okay.
So I have a question. Like
Yeah.
like existing network, I can create another pre-prod, like sort of DevOps environment I can create, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so next one is the DevOps toolchain and modern CI/CD practices, which includes Jenkins and Git. Okay, as I said, once you get into Python after learning Linux, Ansible automation, and then we'll get into Python. With Python, we'll be also learning about Git. We'll be storing the code in GitHub repository. Okay, storing the code in GitHub repository means whatever changes you make are tracked, which also means that you can fall back to the previous version of the file or use the latest version of the file if you're working on a new enhancement, new feature, you can clone the entire project to a different branch. Okay, so there is a concept of branch. So in a new branch, you can work on the code, add new feature. Once the feature gets approved by your senior, you can merge the branch into the main so that you have the updated source code. Okay, so all these concepts are related to Git. And whenever you update the code, that can trigger a job on Jenkins. Jenkins' job is to keep an eye on the source code. If there is a change, incorporate that change, deploy that change into the test environment or QA environment, and then move it to the production. Obviously, there are some approvals that you can configure. Without approval, things won't happen or things won't go to the next stage. Okay. So starting with Jenkins, how it helps in continuous integration, which is build automation or test automation. Build automation in the sense when the source code is modified, automatically take the modified or the latest source code and convert it into a container and deploy push the container into the registry. That is automated build. Jenkins can do that. And once it is done, the next step will be deployment. We call it as continuous delivery. Okay, releasing to production on demand. And how it is done? Again, you will create a chain in, you create a pipeline in Jenkins. And in the pipeline, the next step after, integration or the build stage will be the deployment stage. You can deploy to test environment. You can deploy to production environment. You can do that, right? So Jenkins helps at that level. The only thing with Jenkins is you need to have a separate machine where Jenkins is installed. And then you need to have a separate production machine, separate test machine, separate QA, quality assurance machine. Okay. Although you can perform all of this in a one machine, but if you want to keep things similar to the real life environment, I'll be suggesting you to use a separate machine. Obviously, when we reach Jenkins, I'll be explaining all these things. Okay. Apart from this, for smaller, let's say startups and freelancers, basically they use Circle CI. Okay. If you don't know Circle CI is really good. It's a cloud-based solution of CI/CD. Okay, and you can again configure the same thing. You can tell Circle CI that this is my source code on github.com, etc., etc. Okay, keep an eye on it. Whenever there is an update, whenever I modify a file or add a new file, do perform these steps. Okay, the same thing. Automate build, release to production or release to test, whatever it is. Okay, so it can obviously handle it without any human intervention, all automated. You just have to define the steps carefully. Okay, carefully in the sense, first of all, it is very easy. Next is, when I said carefully, it means you are connecting to the correct server. Okay, you're deploying to the correct server. That is the thing. And as I told you, there are pipelines. So we'll see how pipelines are created, what are the stages, jobs, triggers, etc., etc. And we'll also use AI. Okay, so AI for reviews, code reviews and suggestions, basically. Okay, you might have heard about Copilot, GitHub Copilot, Gemini, Visual Studio Code extension. There are many ways now. Okay, earlier only ChatGPT was used, but now the extensions for the Visual Studio Code is available. Visual Studio Code is that tool, just like we use Notepad, right? We can see in the Notepad, you can create a code in any language. You see this language option? You can code in C language. You can code in Python language. Here is Python. So if I select C, then the code will be highlighted as per the C language. Code highlighting, code hinting, etc. Okay. So this is a kind of a IDE. Notepad++ is IDE, integrated development environment. You can also use it as plain text editor or you can open text files. That's fine. You can also use it for development purposes. Okay. Modern, what do you call it? A bigger version of it is Visual Studio Code from Microsoft. It looks like this. Visual Studio Code. Okay. It has many more features. It supports extensions. Like I have enabled Gemini, if it is there. Oh yeah, here it is. Gemini code assist, it is called, right? So I can basically ask it, I can open a file and ask, like, I want to enhance the functionality, I want to add this feature. It can simply modify the file. If I run it in agent mode, see this agent mode, it can directly modify the file. Or if I disable agent mode, it will show me the code. What code should I use, right? So many things are there. I mean, I will be, obviously using them at every stage. Right. Next one is cloud and container orchestration. See, when we read Jenkins, that means we know Python, we know containerization, we know monolithic architecture of software development and microservice architecture of software development. Okay, then only we'll reach Jenkins. So before that, as I said, Docker containers, that is very important. It is part of Linux. So while we are learning Linux, while we,
Sorry
when we
to
reach
disturb.
the
One
last
small
part.
thing, that
Yeah,
monolithic
yes, please. Yes, yes.
architecture and microservice architecture, what is the difference that?
Okay, so let's say monolithic. Monolithic versus microservices. Okay. So I think I should use a diagram. Let me just draw here itself. Just give me a second. Okay. So monolithic architecture, let's say this is your application. Within the application is connecting to the database. The application's business logic is also added to the same source code. Okay. And the user interface is also part of the same source code. So this is one big application which can connect to the database server. Okay, and depending on the input received from the database server, it can apply some logic to the data and accordingly show the data onto the UI. Simple thing, right? Now, this is monolithic approach when you have everything in one application. What is microservice? Microservice is one application just to connect to the DB. Okay, it's connect to the DB server. It gets the reply from the DB server, and using the API, it forwards the reply to the next application. So next application is the business logic, let's say BL. So business logic application is going to receive the data from DB using the API. Okay, process that information. Okay, process that information and send this information to the next application, which is UI for the same. Okay, so UI is going to receive the data from the API call. Now it has just have to show to the user. Okay, so it will be displayed on the browser. Okay, so this is microservices approach when you have a separate application for separate tasks and they all interact with each other with the help of API calls. The connection method for these applications or the communication method for these application is API. There are various types of APIs, which we'll be discussing later. Okay, so but this is the basic difference between monolithic and microservices. What is the benefit here? Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, from here, so the monolithic, I think it is 3-layer infrastructure. DB is one server and application logic one server.
No.
UI
This
is one
is
server.
source code. This is all in the source code. In the source code, database connection is there. Within the source code, you're capturing the data. And within the source code, the UI is also there. So all of the source code, I mean, you can say one code for application, for this application.
Okay.
This
So
is all
the source
one
code is
source
split
code.
up
Yeah.
into multiple service. It's called a
Yes.
micro.
Yeah. When the source code is split into different applications, and these applications then connect to each other or talk to each other with the help of API. And ultimately, UI will be receiving the last input, and that will be displayed accordingly as per the UI. Let's say it is in HTML, so you will see it in the browser.
Okay, so these
Okay.
are on the code level, but the infrastructure level. So using the same server or how it is defined?
Okay, so these are basically containers. These applications or these source codes will be converted into a container application, and these container applications will be running on one machine. Can be on different machines also. That is part of Kubernetes. We'll discuss all these things. Okay. We can have only one machine running these 3 containers. Let's say this is one virtual machine. Okay, I can run these 3 containers, never mind. It's gonna work. Or I can have 3 separate containers, one for UI, one for database connectivity, one for the business logic. Okay. All right. So all these, yeah, this is microservices. We'll be covering this in the Kubernetes part.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
In
Let me get rid of it.
microservices, STO also covering STO
Sorry?
service. In
STO,
microservices,
yes, we will, yes.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so cloud and containerization. So, sorry, first of all, Docker, and then cloud, and then container. So Docker, you have heard about Docker, right? Docker container. First of all, the technology is container or containerization. Docker is the organization which made containerization popular. Okay, they also provide a command, Docker command. Using Docker command, you can create containers, Docker containers, right? So technology is containerization. Okay, in CentOS, you have a freedom to use either Docker command or podman command. Okay, so Docker command is straight away from docker.com. Podman command is from redhat.com. CentOS, Red Hat, all these are Red Hat products. RHEL is one operating system. CentOS is another operating system. Okay, I'll tell you the differences when we reach Linux. Okay, so Red Hat is the owner of CentOS and RHEL, and Podman is Red Hat developed a command to manage containers. Okay, manage, not to manage, but to create a container image, deploy the file, and when it comes to management, Kubernetes is the way. Okay, Kubernetes is from Google. If you don't know, Kubernetes is developed from by Google. Source, it's open source, and now this is really popular in the software development organizations. Okay, so if you don't know Kubernetes, you are basically lagging behind in DevOps. Okay, Kubernetes is very, very important topic. Okay, apart from cloud and all. Okay, forget about cloud. If you know Kubernetes, you're good. Just Kubernetes alone will give you a job. Okay, but that is not the objective of this course. Okay, you should be able to work on any of these domains independently, like Linux administrator, you can do that. Ansible automation, yes. Cloud administrator or cloud engineer, yes. Or when it comes to applications side, containers and Dockers and Kubernetes, yes. So these are also standalone job profiles. Okay. As a DevOps as a whole, it's not only one person who is working. Obviously, there is a team. Okay. So you might be placed in cloud team or Kubernetes team. You never know. But if you know everything about all these tools, you'll be comfortable wherever you are placed. Okay. Also, you'll be targeting a profile when you apply for a job, right? So you'll be easy. You'll find it easy to work on any of these profiles, right? So Docker basics, how to create Docker container. Then next level is Kubernetes. How you can use Kubernetes to plan the deployment. When I say planning the deployment means Kubernetes is smart enough to auto heal the containers. If container application stops, it can automatically start it. You can also define auto scaling. Let's say there is the incoming traffic for that application has increased 10 times. So the Kubernetes system can automatically create a new pod, run the same container again so that the traffic can be distributed. So that is auto scaling. You can perform auto scaling, rolling updates, rollbacks, auto healing, that is default. Okay. And there are more terminologies associated like deployments, pods, nodes, etc. So we'll learn about all these things, right? Okay, so once we reached here, then we need to cover the cloud part because mostly you will see Kubernetes connecting to the cloud and then deploying the pods, the containers, etc. Okay. So for the cloud part, we'll use AWS, which is really common, very easy to understand. Most of the DevOps job profile will ask you to have the AWS skill. Okay. So in AWS, as you know, it's a cloud platform. You can create virtual machines on the cloud. You can straight away use some services like storage services, database services. Okay. Or use the AWS's inbuilt infrastructure as a code service, CloudFormation, which can help you deploy the infrastructure on the cloud. You need not to use Terraform, but we use Terraform because Terraform can connect to AWS, Azure, and all the other cloud platforms. You're not restricted to AWS. You can connect to any of the cloud platform. Okay. Right. Okay. So when we reach AWS, I'll show you. No, there are more than 200 services that it offers, but we'll be covering the essentials, like what is used in the industry, what you should know. Okay, and we'll be going into details. There is one thing called AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a really nice way of running an application without creating a server. Okay, so again, I'm just touching the high level part of it. So with AWS Lambda, you can deploy an application and you need not to have a separate virtual machine for it. AWS Lambda can handle most of the things. So we'll see how it works, right? Again, I mean, AWS Lambda, I don't think you guys are going to use them, but yes, knowledge is good. Also, sometimes in the job descriptions, AWS Lambda is mentioned. So that's why I kept it here. Okay, but most of the time you'll be using Docker Kubernetes and the cloud native Kubernetes tools, like Kubernetes on AWS, etc., like that.
Yeah, Lambda infrastructure layer we are using.
Yeah, absolutely. You might be using, as I said, I'm talking about the job description. Most of the DevOps job descriptions have AWS Lambda as a skill mentioned, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is infrastructure as a code configuration management. These are the two separate topics. Both are covered with Terraform and Ansible. With Ansible, as I said, it's a versatile tool. It can connect to the server, like the operating system, connect to the virtualized infra. Let's say you want to create a virtual machine on VMware infrastructure. Ansible can do that. Ansible can connect to the vCenter. Okay, if you know what is this, and it can create a virtual machine. It can also connect to the server which it created. It can deploy the user. It can install server applications. It can configure it. Okay, and then it can also connect to storage devices. Okay, it can also allocate storage, zoning, and all. It can connect to network devices. Okay, so Ansible is sort of one-stop shop. It can also connect to the cloud. Just like Terraform, it can also connect to the cloud. But since Terraform was introduced earlier than Ansible, so adaptation is widely spread. So in Terraform, using the providers like AWS provider, Azure provider, you can connect to the cloud platform. You can use all the services that the cloud platform has to offer. Okay, you can create virtual machines. We call them instances. You can create instances on the cloud. You can automatically, it will happen. Obviously, you can create VPCs. You can create subnets. Network level management is possible. Services, whatever services are there, you can auto deploy them. It's very easy. It's all configuration based. You type what you want. You type the desired state, and Terraform is going to make sure the desired state is there. Simple. Same with Ansible. You tell Ansible what to do. If that is already done, nothing will happen. If it is not, it will perform the task. Okay. So Ansible is basically Python based. Okay. And it doesn't mean that you need to learn Python to learn Ansible. No. Just like Firefox. Let's say Firefox is based on Python. Okay. It is developed using Python. But is it necessary to learn Python to use Firefox browser? No. You just open the Firefox browser, you type the URL and start working on it, right? Simply, similarly, Ansible, it is an application, command line application, which just you should need to learn the basic commands of Ansible and you'll be able to perform the automation. Okay. Right. Next one is observability, monitoring, and logging. Using Prometheus and Grafana, we are going to do that. Okay. And I'll just keep this short because this is something that we cover in the end. Okay, so the objective is to capture all the logs from the services which are running on the cloud. Okay, whatever services you have configured, capture the logs. Next is to transfer the logs to the dashboard, which will show you the metrics, like out of 10 servers, how many are running. The same metrics can be displayed with the Kubernetes also, Kubernetes dashboards. Okay, so if your infrastructure is based on Docker container Kubernetes management system, then yes, you will be using the Kubernetes dashboard. Otherwise, you will be using the combination of Prometheus Grafana. Okay. All right, so we'll talk about this later, not right now, but we need to get into, we have covered all this. We need to get into Linux fundamentals first. Okay. And as I said, the first practical that we're going to do is to create a virtual machine on the laptop. Okay, if it is possible for you guys, create a machine on the laptop and deploy the operating system and then see how it works. Okay, initially you can use the GUI, that's perfectly fine, but ultimately we'll be connecting to the server with SSH. Okay, remote login, text-based communication, and yeah, so this is how we're going to proceed. Okay, so in order to create a machine, you need these things. Let me just go to the slide. I'll talk about all these, previous slides in a moment, but let me just explain how to create a virtual machine. Okay, so this slide is for Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system, but we'll stick with CentOS. Okay. So step number 1, download CentOS 10 ISO file. Okay, this is step number 1. Step number 2 is download and install VMware Workstation.
So the Kali Linux would be okay?
See, Kali Linux is okay for those who are into cyber security, or they are performing the penetration testing and all those stuff. But I would highly recommend you guys to use either Ubuntu or CentOS. Okay, I'm using CentOS right now because of the popularity of RHEL and RHEL products, Red Hat products. Okay, so in the production environment, yeah.
Yeah, last time you showing your lab the Kali.
In the demo, yeah. The demo, yes, Kali was there, but ultimately, see, again, as I said, Linux operating system, the base is the same. It's all about the tools. Okay, so in Kali Linux, let me just explain you a few things. In Kali Linux, the base is the same Linux operating system plus multiple tools. Okay, but here when we talk about CentOS, that is pure Linux. And when we talk about the tools, we will install tools on demand. Okay. Okay, so we will install the tools on demand.
Linux, we have to choose the, instead of Ubuntu, we have to choose the CentOS, isn't it?
See, when we talk about Linux operating system, Linux is an open source. Linux kernel is open source. Okay. The kernel is that component of the operating system which connects to the hardware, and that is open source. The source code is available. Multiple groups, multiple groups like Red Hat, SUSE. SUSE is basically novel SUSE. Okay, novel. Then Ubuntu, Canonical, sorry. And Canonical, and let's say CentOS was the group. Now it's with the Red Hat. Okay, so these are some group of developers or big companies. What they do is they download the same Linux kernel from GitHub, okay, which is from Linus Torvalds, the developer. Okay, and then they create the commands, their own commands around it, and then they create a full-fledged new operating system and they rename it. Let's say Red Hat says it is called RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. For Novel, it is SUSE, SLES, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server. Then there is Ubuntu. And then there is CentOS, that is the same name. CentOS 10 is the latest one. Here, I think 24 is latest. SLES, I think 15 is latest. And RHEL 10 is latest. Okay. So all these latest, tell me.
Like I have a Red Hat 10 version and Kali Linux in my Dell server. So do I need to install the CentOS?
If you already have RHEL 10, you're good to go. Because CentOS and RHEL both are exactly the same.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So now Red Hat owns RHEL and CentOS, and these are different groups. Okay. All right. So we'll be using CentOS, plain Linux operating system. If we need some tools, we are going to install them on demand. We'll see how to do that, because installing something on Linux, it's not that easy. It is easy, but you need to understand how it works. So we'll talk about that. Yes, Nasir, you have a doubt?
Yeah, I mean, you answered last time as well, and I understand what you're saying right now. So a Parrot operating system, which I have right at the moment. So on top of that, I can work with CentOS,
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
together. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do
Yep,
that.
no props. Sure.
All right. So step one is to download CentOS 10 ISO. Step 2 is to download the VMware Workstation application. If you are on Windows, VMware Workstation is the application. If you're on Mac, then you need to download VMware Fusion. Okay, both are free. Earlier, they used to be paid tools. You need to pay some $100 for the what do you call it? The serial key, right? But now these are free. Post the acquisition of VMware by Broadcom made them free. So now you can download, right? So I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. And then step number 3 is to create a virtual machine with at least 2 CPU. 1 is also fine, but 2 is good. And 2 GB RAM. Okay, 2 CPU, 2 GB RAM, and at least 20 GB hard disk. Okay, so we need this configuration. If you cannot allocate 2 CPU, 1 is good. If you cannot allocate 2 GB RAM, 1 is also good. If you cannot allocate 20 GB hard disk, 10 is also good. Even 8 is also good. Okay, but 10, just stick with 10 as the bare minimum, right? Okay, so how do you figure out?
So sorry, so
yes,
this
please.
20 GB hard drive, is
Mhm.
that virtual or physical space
It will
consumption?
be allocated from your hard disk. Let's say your
Hard disk,
laptop
okay.
has 500 GB, right? In
Yep.
C drive, maybe. So out
Yep.
of that 500 GB, 20 will be allocated to this virtual machine.
Okay.
And this
So
20
since
doesn't mean the entire 20 will be reserved.
yep.
A fraction of it will be allocated, and then as you keep on filling it, more from the real hard disk will be allocated. It's like that. Thin
Sure.
provisioning, this is called.
Yep. So I'm just getting my head around, since we are in VMware
Mhm.
and I'm allocating this 20 GB.
Mhm.
So this is not virtual. It's, virtual is the only VMware. So, but this allocation of the hard drive is physical.
Mhm. Yeah, from your physical disk, 20
Okay.
GB will be allocated to this virtual machine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so how do you actually find out how much of CPU you can allocate and how much of RAM you can allocate? In Windows, it's very simple. Go to Task Manager. And in the Task Manager, go to Performance. And in the Performance, you'll see everything. Click on the CPU. Don't go by the graph. Click on the CPU. Below the graph, you have the summary. It says logical processors 16. So on my laptop, there are 16 virtual CPUs. Out of these 16, I can allocate 2. Okay. Likewise, you might have 8 or 4. Doesn't matter. If you have 4, allocate 1. If you have 8, allocate 2. I have 16. I can allocate 2 easily. I can also allocate 4. Doesn't matter. Because I can see right now only 16% of the CPU is in use, or 26 right now. It fluctuates. So average is 15, 16, 17 maybe. Okay, so I can allocate maybe 4 also. Okay, depending on your system, you might be able to allocate 1 or 2 at max. Then click on memory. It says 15 GB is used out of 32 GB. So I have plenty of RAM available RAM 15. I can easily allocate 2. If you have 8 GB RAM, allocate 1 GB, doesn't matter, or 2 GB, that is also good. If you have 4 GB RAM, then you can allocate 1. Okay, don't go below 1. Right? So this is how you check.
Hello.
Yes, please.
I do have a Mac, so how do I
Mac, is it Apple Silicon or Intel processor?
Apple Silicon.
Apple Silicon, no worries. You have plenty of cores. Okay, I think you have 10 cores, right? Minimum 10 should be there.
Yes.
M1, M2,
M4.
M?
M4.
M4.
Mhm.
Okay, M4. Let me check. Hold on. In M4, I think you should get at least 16. Let me check. 10 core GPU and 10 core CPU. Yeah, so you have 10 cores of compute. No worries. You can easily allocate to CPU. Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Also, you can provide all that links to download when
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the
These are just the steps. I'll be sharing the links also.
for
Don't
the
worry.
Mac as well because I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No worries. No worries. It will work for the Mac as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So these are the steps. So let's go to step number 1. Step number 1 is to download CentOS ISO. In fact, when you have a browser and a search engine, you don't need any help. Why? You simply search it. Download CentOS 10. That's it. Always prefer the vendor website. Vendor website is centos.com, centos.org, right? So the first link is centos.org, right? So I'm going to open it in a new tab. Now here we are straight away at the download page. Going to share the link in the chat as well. Okay, so this is the link. You can click on it. You will also land on the same page. Make sure 10 is selected. And out of these options, what to download? Okay. If you are on Mac with Apple Silicon M1, M2, M3, M4, you have to download ARM64 ISO. Okay. So simply click on ISO's column mirrors. Okay. So ARM64 mirror. It will simply start the download. It's going to be maybe 6, 7 GB, something like that. Okay. What about the others which are on Intel processor? Then you have to use x86-64 option mirrors. Okay. So just click on it. It should start the download. It will give you the save as option. Okay. Simply download. I already have it. Or do I? Let me check. Size. No, I don't have it. So
I think around 8 GB plus. It takes some
yeah,
time.
yeah. So I'm going to start and pause it. Otherwise, it's going to affect the meeting because I'm on video share as well. Yeah, it's 8.5 GB. Okay. I'm going to
Sorry,
pause it for now.
can you say that again? Did you say that download the ISO mirror for the
Mirror is
Windows? Yep.
mirror means alternative download links. Okay. If one doesn't work, other one will be used to initiate the download. That is called a mirror. So x86-64 is for Intel processors. Okay, so let's say you're using a laptop with Intel CPU, use this option. If you're using a laptop with Apple CPU, Apple Silicon, then use ARM64. Okay, then you have to click the second one, second mirrors, right? And the file is 8.5 GB approximately. It's going to take some time depending on your internet speed, right? So this is number 1. In fact, let me paste the link here as well because I'm going to save this as a notes for today's class. Next is download and install VMware Workstation. Okay, I'm going to do the same again. Open google.com, search for VMware Workstation. Okay, same you can do it for VMware Fusion. It says VMware Fusion and Workstation. I told you to prefer the vendor site, right? So VMware.com is the vendor, right? But right now, Broadcom is the parent one. Okay, so I'm just going to open broadcom.com knowledge. Whenever you see knowledge or KB or article, that means it's a kind of a, kind of a documentation. Like it will tell you how to do that. So if I click on it, it will take me to that documentation. Here it says log into broadcom.com and click on VMware Workstation Pro link, free links. Okay, so second one, click on the second link and then select the version and start the download. Okay. So this is for Windows Windows laptop. Okay, where is the chat? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is for VMware Workstation, Windows laptops, and then VMware Fusion. Okay, here it is. In fact, the previous link will also help you get into VMware Fusion page. Okay. Okay, so let me do it for the Windows machine. Log into Broadcom support, click on the first link. It will take you to the Broadcom support page. I'm sure you are not yet registered, so click on register. It will ask for your email and then ask you few questions, a password, verify your email, and that's it. You will be registered. Okay, I'm already registered. I'm going to straight away log in. So click on login. Okay, so I'm going to use my credentials. All right. Okay, so once you are there, go back to the same article and click on the second link, which is says for free versions of VMware Workstation Pro, use this link. So click on it. So this will take you to the free version of Workstation Pro. Similarly, free version of VMware Fusion Pro as well. Okay. And now here it is. VMware Workstation Pro for 25H2 Windows and 17 for, okay, so what is your operating system version? In Windows, go to the settings. Hold on. Go to the settings. The home page will tell you, should tell you. If not, then I think about, where is about? System and about. Yeah. Okay, so here it says it is Windows 11 25H2. So for me, I need to download the first one, VMware Workstation Pro 25H2 for Windows. Okay, so click. In fact, this is the newer one. I'll be downloading it. I'm still using version 17. So let me just download it straight away. This is going to be approximately 300 megabytes. Okay, I agree to the terms and conditions. This is disabled. You can't select. Why? Because you have to first read the conditions. Okay. So click on terms and conditions, scroll down, go back to the page. Now you can click. Okay. So you have agreed to the terms and conditions. And from here, there is the download button, HTTPS download. Click on it. Let me just download this one because this is new. I need to do that. Done. Okay. All right. So similarly for VMware Fusion, you can do that. Okay. Next one is to create, download and install VMware Workstation. Yeah. So for Mac, it is Fusion. Okay. So what I have shared the link, right? Yeah. So let's go to the VMware Fusion option. Oh, it says nothing found. Hold on. Why does it say nothing? Just give me a second. Let's go to this one, which is for free. And it says product family, subfamily, VMware Fusion, free download, true. Okay, so let me change it to Fusion.
What is the difference between that Fusion and
Fusion is for Mac and
okay.
VMware Workstation is for Windows. Just a second, let me try to modify the URL if it works. Okay, not working here. Let me find it. I think they changed the link. VMware Fusion Pro, free download. Okay, let's see if it redirects to support. Yeah. Okay, so this is the link which I was looking for, free software downloads. Click here. And let me also use this. Now, this is the common link. Here in this link, you can find VMware Fusion, Workstation, everything. VMware is the subcategory. Show results. And here it is, VMware Fusion. Click on it. Strange. VMware Fusion for 25H2. Let me see. What is it talking about? For Intel based and Apple Silicon Macs. First of all, Apple operating system doesn't follow this naming convention 25H2. I think some mistake by the developer. Also, it's the DMG file for Apple, not for Windows. So why are they using 25H2? Okay, never mind. You just click on the same, I agree, click on download, and you will be able to download. Okay, so if you want this direct link, let me first of all go back. And from here, you can easily download. Okay, so in the chat, I'm pasting. Right. Okay, so in my case, I have already installed VMware Workstation because it is just next, and finish. Okay, so simple, a typical installation in Windows, you know that. So once it is installed, it might ask you to reboot. Go ahead, reboot the server, your laptop. Okay, and then search for VMware. You will find VMware Workstation Pro and VMware Workstation Player. You have to open the Pro application. Click on Pro. Initially, you will see this as the home page. On the left hand side, there will be nothing. Okay, because I have created some machines already. That's why you see all these machines. Okay, let me do one thing. Just a second. Power off. Okay, so now let's create a machine. You will see something like this. Okay, on the left, you won't see anything. On the right, 3 options. The first option is create a virtual machine. So click on it. In this box, you will have 2 options. One is typical recommended. The next one is custom advanced. Click on custom, click on typical. Okay, use the recommended option always. Click on next. It's asking in the next page to select the ISO file using which the OS will be installed. Now here, if you select the ISO, what will happen? The operating system will be installed automatically and you will not get to know how OS was installed. So we will be installing OS later. Okay, so select I will install OS later. Click on next. Now we are going to install OS later. So it's asking us what OS will be, what you are going to install in the future. I'm going to install Linux. So select Linux. And from this drop down, if RHEL, if CentOS 10 is listed, select it. Let me find if CentOS is there. CentOS 8. Okay, we don't have 9, we don't have 10. Never mind. CentOS 10 uses kernel 6. Okay, so there will be an option for selecting kernel 6. So, okay, here it is. It says other operating system with Linux 6 kernel, 6 version kernel. Okay, 64-bit. Click on it. All right, so other Linux 6.x kernel 64-bit. This is the option to select. Click on next. Now here, give the name. Let me call it as DevOps -CentOS. Okay. And in the location, make sure you have at least 20 GB free in this location. I have set D drive as the default. You can change it in the preferences in the edit menu. Select preferences. Location you can change permanently. Okay, I've used D drive. You can see the default location can be changed at edit preferences. Okay, so till here we are fine. Click on next. How much space? I said 20. Use 20 GB. Click on next. Now click on customize hardware and validate if 2 GB of RAM and 2 CPUs are allocated. So yes, 2 GB RAM, 2 CPUs. Perfect. Click close and finish. This way you are going to create a blank virtual machine without any operating system. Okay, it's a blank machine. So now on the left-hand side, you will see the machine DevOps -CentOS, right? It is already clicked and you see the right-hand side is black. This is the console, the graphical part. If you install graphics, you will see the graphical view here, right? At the same time, the device configuration, the VM configuration, and now you have to click on edit because now we will connect the ISO file. So click on edit. Just for my system, I need to click on options and disable the side channel migration just for my machine. If this is applicable for your machine also, it will give you a prompt to disable this side channel migration. You can do that from here. This is the edit page. Let me do that again. Edit. You see this options tab, options, advanced, disable side channel. Click OK. Okay, so this is one-time activity. Now click on CD DVD. Make sure you select ISO image, browse the image. Okay, CentOS. Hold on. This CentOS is not yet downloaded. Is it?
Yeah, you canceled it. You
Yeah, I paused it. Yeah, I paused it. Just hold on. Let me just verify. When was this created? No, this is an old one, which means I already have it. Okay, perfect. Click on OK. Now you have attached the ISO. Your system is ready to power on. Now click on power on this machine option, or you can right click and power start up the guest. Okay, or power on. These two options are the same. So power on this machine. Now this console will show you what's going on. Now it says to select any of these options. Right now, you cannot make any selection. I'm trying to use the up down arrow keys. Nothing is happening because right now my mouse is on Windows. I'm controlling the Windows, right? If you want to control this console, this view, you have to click on it. And when you click on it, the mouse vanishes. And even if you try to take the mouse out of this view, it won't. I'm trying to move my mouse. I can't see it. This means the mouse has been grabbed. See this last line, this yellow bar. It says, when I click on the screen, it says press Alt and Tab. No, sorry, Alt and Control to release the mouse cursor. So on your keyboard, press Alt Control and you will see the mouse is back. Okay. All right. So if the mouse is captured by the console, you press Control and Alt, and the mouse is back. Okay. So here in this screen, you have to select the first option, install CentOS Stream 10. Okay. First option, press Enter. Now let's wait. Now from the DVD itself, ISO file, the booting setup, not the booting, sorry, the installation setup file will be loaded and the application will start. The application which will help you installing CentOS 10 or even Red Hat, that is called Anaconda. So right now, the installer Anaconda is being loaded into the RAM. Okay, let's wait for it to show the screen to select the language and all. Okay, here it is. It says welcome to CentOS Stream 10. Select the language. I'll be selecting English US. It's already by default selected. Click on continue. In fact, let me go full screen here. I hope this looks good. Close the left bar. Okay. I hope this is comfortable. All right. So there are four categories, four sections: localization, software, system, user settings, right? So in localization, you can define the keyboard layout, language support, date and time. Date and time will be auto-selected. You don't have to worry. But if it is incorrect, like here it says New York time zone. No, I am in India. This virtual machine is on my laptop. It should say Indian Standard Time. So I'll change it. Okay. How to change it? Just click on date and time. And here it will be Asia and then Calcutta here, right? And that's it. Click on done, blue button at the top. Okay. Click on date and time, make the changes. On the left hand side,
It's not visible.
Screen is not visible.
The desktop.
It is visible. It is visible only.
Okay, let me do one thing. Let me stop the share and share the screen again.
One small thing. For me, it is showing version 24H2.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a 22H, but it's Windows 10 Pro.
No
And the
worries. Use
Broadcom
version 17. Use version 17.
up to 24 we can use version 17. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. I hope it's visible now. You can see the screen, the installer screen.
I can able to view.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So time and date, make sure it is correct. It has to be as per your time zone. If you're not in India, some other country, make sure the correct time zone is selected. The same you have to do with the servers. When you deploy the server, you deploy it on a data center. Data center can be in US, UK, Australia, doesn't matter. Make sure the server time zone is accurate. Like in my organization where I work, apart from NW Kings, most of the servers are in Sweden data center. So we make sure the date and time is selected accordingly, okay, as per the location. So this is done. Next one is software installation source and software selection. You don't have to change anything here. Source is the same ISO file. You don't want to change it. Software selection is you can install Linux with a GUI, without GUI.
Your
in
voice
minimal.
is low.
Voice is breaking.
No, it's not breaking, but its volume is low. Earlier it was good.
No,
Just
it's
a
all
second.
clear. It's all clear,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, it's all good. Let me still check something.
No, it's clear only.
Okay, but still I will increase the. Okay, it's full. Microphone input volume is full. Okay, perfect. All right, so software selection, you can just click on it and see what it offers. First, which is auto selected server with GUI, you will get the graphical user interface. Okay, if you select the server, all the core components and the required components will be installed without the GUI. Next is minimal, just for basic functionality. You will notice that many of the commands which we are going to learn are missing in minimal install. Does it mean that we should not use minimal install? Minimal install is the best way of installing Linux. Why? Because less applications will be installed. And this is really good when it comes to updates. If something is required, let's say one command which is missing, you can install it later on. Okay. So you install on demand. So minimal is the way forward. Right now, I'm going to go with server with GUI, but in the real world, we simply use minimal install. This is the best way of installing any flavor of Linux operating system. CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, you name it, SUSE. Minimal install is the best way. Okay, this way you get less number of applications, less applications to be updated every month, less overhead on the teams. Okay. Okay, click on done with server with GUI. We'll stick with that. Next one is installation destination, which means how do you want to install CentOS? Just like Windows, when you install Windows, if you have that experience, you need to have C drive and one more drive, 100 MB, 200 MB drive, like that. Then you have to select the drive where you want to install the partitions and all, right? Similarly, you have to define the partitions here. But since we are new to Linux, we don't know what is partitioning. We don't know how much is required, where to install Linux, etc. So do one thing, select automatic. We are doing this installation for the first time. That's why I'm selecting automatic. Next time, when we read about storage, how to perform partitions and all, we will perform the OS installation again. We will create a new virtual machine again. And then we will select custom. And in custom, we define what partition, how much size, etc., etc. Okay. So right now, automatic, this installer will auto select the best approach, the best, partition layout, and it will proceed with the installation. So click on automatic, click on done. So we are good. Next, last option is kdump is enabled. That is regarding, how to handle kernel crash. We'll talk about kernel crash later. So keep it as it is, don't touch it. Next one is network and host name. Click on it. You will notice one IP has been allocated to this virtual machine automatically, 192.168.81.147, right? So this is auto allocated by the DHCP server, which is running on Windows. When you install VMware, Workstation, or Fusion, DHCP server service gets installed on Windows, which you can check from, again, Task Manager. Just open Task Manager, click on the services, search for DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. Now, DHCP client is the one which connects to the DHCP server. I have DHCP client running and DHCP service running. So DHCP client is Windows service, which connects to your Wi-Fi router and connects to the DHCP server on the Wi-Fi router and gets a unique IP. Okay, so this DHCP client is responsible for allocating IP to my Windows laptop. Now, this VMware DHCP service is responsible for allocating IP to the VMware virtual machines, the virtual machines which are on VMware Workstation. Okay, like you can see, I have these many virtual machines, and all these many virtual machines have a unique IP. So this VMware DHCP service is the one responsible for allocating a unique IP to these virtual machines. Okay, and the same way, the machine that we are creating right now has one unique IP address, 147 ending, 192.168.81.147. Okay, so this is fine. We are here to set a name. I need to give a name to this machine that is called host name. So I'm setting DevOps as the host name. Click apply. That's it. So we opened this option just to set a host name, nothing more. Click on done. So we are almost done. We just need to set a password. See, in Windows, there is a user called administrator. That administrator can do whatever it wants. I mean, you can log in as admin and you can perform any level of admin related work. Okay. Although we don't do that, the user which is created on laptops basically has admin privileges. So you can also do that. Let's say there is an application which only admin can open. So system will say run as admin, yes or no, right? So that is called privilege escalation. In Windows, it happens automatically. In Linux, the administrator user is called root, ROOT. You can see here, user settings, root. Root account is disabled. Let's do one thing. Let's set a password for root account, enable it. Also, let's create a user on this machine. Okay. So we don't log in as administrator every time. We log in as ourselves. So I log in as Amit on my laptop, right? This is a virtual machine. I'll create a user by the name student. So I'll log in as student on this virtual machine. Okay. So step number 1, root account, click on it. Disable root? No, I want to enable it. So enable root account, set a password. I am going to use, let's say, CentOS as the password. Since it's a weak password, in order to confirm the password, I have to click done 2 times. Okay, so confirm the password again, CentOS. It's a weak password, right? Allow SSH login with root password. Yes. Allow SSH login. Okay. Now I have to confirm this. Click done 2 times. Done, done, done. So root password has been set to CentOS. Now user creation. I want you guys to use the same username, student. Okay. So throughout this course, we'll be using the username as student on this virtual machine. Student is the username. Student is the full name as well. Hold on. Student. Add administrative privileges should be selected. Require a password to this user account should be selected. It is already. Set a password. I'm going to use same CentOS. Okay. Let's use student as the password, a different one. Student. So student username, student password. Again, it's a weak password. Click done 2 times.
Your voice, I think, on mute.
Yes, your voice disappeared.
Just a second, guys.
Yeah, I could just hear you when you said just a second, but not before. If you say something again, maybe we can hear you.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so previously my headphone got disconnected. I heard someone asking a question. Can you repeat?
No, there was no question. We were just saying
Okay.
that you disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm back, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Tushar this side. I have installed that. I have downloaded that. Which one? That 8 GB wala CentOS. So
CentOS
I'm
ISO.
not able to install that. Can you just help me out
Yeah,
in the
sure.
Mac?
Sure. Do one thing. I'm stopping my share. You share your screen and I'll help you out.
Okay. Is it visible right now?
Yes. Can you open the VMware Fusion?
Not the Fusion. I have downloaded that CentOS.
Okay, so this is just the installer file. Treat it as a DVD. जैसे आपने DVD download किया, right? So when you have the DVD, you need to connect this DVD to the virtual machine. So let's create the virtual machine, install VMware Fusion, create the virtual machine, and then connect this ISO file to the virtual machine.
So, until and unless I have not installed that Fusion, it will not work.
Yes, correct. Because you have to first create a virtual machine, right? तो virtual machine आप बना पाएंगे VMware Fusion के साथ.
अच्छा.
Yes.
Where is the chat?
I think you have to first. Okay, got the chat? Okay, good.
This one, no?
No. Just a
For
second.
Mac.
No, let me share it again. Hold on. The last link. Can you open the last link? Free download one.
So Amit, have you created any group somewhere on WhatsApp or Discord?
Not yet. So by tomorrow, the links will be ready. Not Discord, but we will follow Telegram.
Sure. Yep,
Yeah.
no problems.
Okay. So Telegram and G Drive link. These two links will be provided to you by tomorrow. So before the class, I'll first of all create those.
Yep, no worries. Thanks.
So I just need that signing.
Yes. First of all, you register. Okay. And on the top right, you see login. Just click on the triangle, register. Yeah. So click on register, register yourself as a user on Broadcom support. Okay. It will take some time. I mean, take your time. Okay. And then use the last link that I've shared. That will take you to the page where free downloads are listed. Select VMware Fusion from there. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Last time we installed the Oracle VirtualBox that we have to install now.
Okay. So if you are using Oracle VirtualBox, you can try installing or creating a virtual machine with Oracle VirtualBox as well. Doesn't matter. Why I prefer VMware Workstation Pro is it is more polished compared to VirtualBox. Okay.
Okay.
It is more stable and it offers more stability to the virtual machines.
Okay.
If you try to use latest operating systems like CentOS 10, Red Hat 10, or RHEL 10 on VirtualBox, you might find occasional hiccups, errors, bugs. Okay, so that's why I always prefer VMware Workstation.
Okay. So I will uninstall that or
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. If you're not using
uninstall
it,
this one.
just get rid of it. No
Okay.
point having multiple virtualization platforms.
And that image will work for 22H version also, no? So
Yeah. See,
it's
if you are on like I said, if you are on Windows 11 25H2, use the latest version. If you are on below that or even Windows 10, use 17. VMware
312.
Workstation 17. 17.6, I think is the latest one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. So I hope you can see. Okay, just a second. Let me check one thing. I just want to see how the screen is visible to you all. Okay, just behind me, there is a reboot button in blue color. Okay, in fact, I can, yeah, now this is fine. So you can see this reboot button, right? Click on it, it will reboot the system, and you have successfully installed CentOS Stream 10. Why is it called CentOS Stream? So there is a reason behind it. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay, so right now, let's focus on how it looks like and what you can do with it. Okay, Red Hat. Oh, it is student, not Red Hat. So this is the login page. You fill the password. So since this is the first login, it's going to take some time to create the user's profile, maybe a few seconds. Yes, one more thing. If you already have Hyper-V enabled on Windows, use it. Okay, no need to install VMware Workstation. You simply go with Hyper-V. That is equally good as Workstation. Right. So this is the screen that you get after logging in for the first time.
I'm not
Yes,
able to
please.
view the screen. Can you reshare?
Yeah, yes. Let me stop and share it again. Just a second. Okay, so is it visible now?
It's loading.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay, okay.
Okay. All right, so this is how it looks like when you log in for the first time on GUI. Okay, but if you're not on GUI, this won't be visible. It will be straight away command line interface. You start typing the commands. That's it. So if you're interested to know more on CentOS 10, take the tour, click on it. Otherwise, skip it. Okay, when you click on skip, you will be taken to this wallpaper, or you can say the desktop. Okay. So how do you navigate? How do you open the applications, etc., etc.? There are two things to remember. Number one, the top bar where you see the date and time and these icons, right? On the left, extreme left, you have this icon, bar icon. Click on it. It will open a dock from below. And on the dock, you have many options like software, just like Windows Store. So in CentOS, there is software option. Then there is the terminal, the same terminal name application, which provides command line interface. So this is the command line interface which you get on CentOS. Okay. Or we'll say Linux. Okay. I'm going to close it for now. Then the notepad, which is called gedit text editor. Okay. So this is notepad. You type and save the files, create the files, right? And this last option will show all the other applications which are installed. Okay. So here you have Firefox pre-installed, system monitor, just like task manager, there is system monitor, resources, like how many CPU, RAM, etc. File systems refer to the partitions. We'll talk about partitions later. Okay. So processes, how many processes are running right now in the background or in the foreground also. So this task manager is also running as a process on foreground, plus 300 more or 200 more in the background. And one more thing. Yeah, settings. So click on settings, play with the settings for today. Don't worry about, breaking the system. If you can break the system from settings, I'll give you a gift. Okay, so just play with it. Okay, so make changes to the network, display. Display is nothing, your display screen. Sound, okay, doesn't matter. Power, appearance, yes, you can change wallpapers and all. Applications, how applications behave, you can change that. Okay, mouse and touchpad, just play with the settings. Okay, get familiar with this operating system. Okay, and what if we want to get into Explorer? Like in Windows, we have Explorer, File Explorer. In Linux, we have the same File Explorer. It's called Files. Here it is, Files. Okay, click on Files, and there it is. Okay, so can I maximize it? Where is the button? Strange. It doesn't have maximize button. Earlier it used to be. In CentOS 10. Okay. It means they are referring to snap in. So drag the window to the top, it will snap into full screen. Or drag the window to the left, it will stack on the left. Or same for the right. So no maximize button, you just have to snap in. Okay, let's snap in to the maximum. No? Yeah, okay. So this is the file manager or file explorer, sorry. Right now, this is the location of my user home directory. Like in Windows, it is C drive users username. Here it is /home/username. Now what is slash? Slash in Linux is the starting point of the operating system. Like in Windows, it is C. You have C drive as a starting point. Okay. Similarly in Linux, the starting point is called slash. Slash is basically a folder by the name slash, and everything is inside slash. In slash, you will find all of the other subdirectories, and you cannot exit slash. But in C, you can exit C, right? You can go to the GUI and all. But if you're in slash, you cannot exit slash. Everything is inside slash. In fact, sorry, in Windows, you can't exit C. See, I'm in desktop. I am in C users Amit F desktop. I'm still in C drive. Can you go out of C? Can you go out of desktop? No. You are still inside the desktop. In C drive, sorry. Okay. Like here. I am out of C. No, I'm in C. I'm on desktop. I have opened an application. Then I go into C separately. Then I can go wherever I want. That is called navigation. But otherwise, I'm in C drive. Likewise, in Linux, you'll stay in slash. Everything is inside slash. So right now I'm inside slash, there is home. Inside home, there is student. And this is displayed as slash home slash student. Okay. So slash home inside home student. If there are more users, then you will see another username mentioned here. And that user, when it logs in, it will log in into slash home slash demo. So what is inside the home directory? This is home. This is my user's home. So in the home directory, there is desktop, document, download, music, all these things. In fact, when you open the terminal to type a command, you are again inside your home directory. There is a command ls which will tell you what is inside this current location. It says desktop, documents, downloads, the same thing. The same folders you see are listed here in blue color with ls command. ls stands for list directory contents. What is inside a directory? Otherwise, ls needs a argument, like what is inside, let's say inside slash there is temp. So what is inside slash temp? So these files are there inside slash temp, these many. Okay, so if I don't specify any argument, this is called argument. We'll talk about command syntax later. Okay, so when I don't specify any argument, ls command is going to use the current location as argument. And with pwd, present working directory command, it can tell you what is the current location. I am in slash home student. So when I run ls, it takes slash home student as the argument, and then it will display what is inside slash home student. And it is exactly the same as you see in the GUI. Okay, desktop downloads, etc. All right. I think this is it for today, guys. I want you guys to install VMware, Workstation, or Fusion, depending on the machine that you're using. Download CentOS 10, Stream 10, create a virtual machine, and play with it. If not, no worries. You have Monday to Friday again, 5 more days to work on. Utilize that time. Okay. And tomorrow we are going to proceed ahead with the proper topic, which is Linux. Okay. So we'll talk about Linux, how it originated, the various flavors of Linux which are out there in the market, or distributions we also call them. Okay. So all these things, starting from the fundamentals of operating system, then open source Linux, then Red Hat Linux, CentOS Linux, all those things. All right, guys. So that's it from my side. Any questions before I close the call? Any doubts? Yes, please.
I just want to know that this video will be when it will be accessed.
Okay, so this live class is recorded and will be uploaded to student portal just after I disconnect. Basically, it takes some time for video processing.
Guys, you will get the video in your portal.
Yeah. So after a few hours of data processing, because it has to be encrypted and then uploaded to the portal, it's gonna take some time. So around, as Gaurav said, 2 o'clock or 2:30, you should see this video available on the portal. Okay. Yes, Nasir. Yes, you have a doubt?
Yep. No doubt. Just which platform are you going to use for the group? For any updates or any doubts? Yep.
Normally we prefer Telegram. Okay, and I'll be posting the updates. Even you can also post your queries and doubts on that group that I create.
So would you create it today or tomorrow?
Yeah, so I'll create it today. I'll share the links tomorrow before the class. Before the class means when I start the class, I'll share the links. Okay.
No problem. Yep. Thank you. Have a good one. Take care. See you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for today. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
For canonical, that Ubuntu and CentOS, it is different from the command lines, or?
Okay. See, the fundamentals are exactly the same. Few commands, for example, in Red Hat Linux or CentOS, if you want to install something, you need to use DNF command. Okay, like DNF install Firefox. If you want to do the same on Ubuntu, you need to use apt command, apt install Ubuntu, Firefox, apt remove Firefox. Okay, fundamentals, the background processing of that command is the same. The only difference is the command name. Okay, it's like that. Yeah. So as I said, fundamentals are the same. Yeah.
Yeah, in Ubuntu student, I think it's not showing the username, desktop download. I think the flavor is different, likely, right?
You have to create that user. So in Ubuntu, when you install Ubuntu, you can create the user at that time, or after installing Ubuntu, you would the user add command and deploy the user. User add space student, user will be created.
A user will be created. The inside the profile, maybe it's showing different or
no, it will show the same. You log in as user, it will show the same.
okay.
Yeah. Try it out. If you are using Ubuntu, you can do that.
Thank you, Amit.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, that's
All
it.
right.
Gaurav,
Thank you. See.
Gaurav, you have anything to say before I close?
No. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care.
See ya.